तो सड़कों से अब मैं आ गई हूँ एक ऑफिस में। आप सोच रहे होंगे अब ये ऑफिस में क्या कर रही है, बंगाल इलेक्शन कवर कर रही थी, कहाँ पहुँच गई। अभी भी मैं बंगाल इलेक्शन ही कवर कर रही हूँ। बंगाल साक्षी है में आपका स्वागत है। और इस वक्त मैं सबसे जाने माने उस न्यूज़पेपर के दफ्तर में मौजूद हूँ जिसकी हेडलाइन आप रोज़ देखने के लिए बेताब रहते हैं, या तो आपके पास सोकर उठकर जैसे ही आप अपना व्हाट्सएप चेक करते हैं आपके पास शायद वो फॉरवर्डेड आ चुका होता है। एक ऐसा अखबार जिसकी हेडलाइन चर्चा में रहती है। जी हाँ, समझ गए आप, टेलीग्राफ के ऑफिस में मैं इस वक्त हूँ। और अभी उनके एडिटर, देखो मैं आपको बता दूँ यहाँ पे अभी बहुत सन्नाटा है क्योंकि कोविड की वजह से बहुत कम लोग आते हैं यहाँ पर और काम पूरा करते हैं घर से, वर्क फ्रॉम होम, लेकिन अपने शब्दों से वो पूरा आपको एहसास कराते हैं दैट दे आर वर्किंग 24/7। तो इस वक्त मिस्टर आर राजगोपाल जो कि एडिटर हैं टेलीग्राफ के, हमारे साथ यहाँ पर हैं। थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर अग्रीइंग फॉर दिस इंटरव्यू। आपको नहीं पता कि मैं कितना, जब से मैं आई हूँ यहाँ पे, इट्स बीन ऑलमोस्ट 25 डेज नाउ, मैं तब से अपनी बस आस लगाए बैठी हूँ मुझे टेलीग्राफ के दफ्तर देखना है एक बार। ओके, यू कैन स्पीक इन इंग्लिश इफ यू आर कंफर्टेबल विद इंग्लिश। ओके, सो पहली चीज़ तो ये है, ये जो ऐसी ऐसी हेडलाइंस आप लोग बनाते हैं, हो सकता है हमारे मिथ हों कई चीज़ों को लेके, लेकिन मैं चाहती हूँ कि आपके मिथ क्लियर हों। आपकी कुछ हेडलाइंस तो मुझे एकदम मुंह जबानी याद हैं। सबसे लेटेस्ट आपकी थी फ्यूरेर डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट वाली। तो जब आप हेडलाइन बनाते हैं तो क्या कुछ एकदम मीटिंग होती है, क्या होता है, एंड हु इज़ द पर्सन बिहाइंड ऑल दोज हेडलाइंस?
Yeah, but it's a collective effort. A lot of you can meet them later. Some of my core team members are there.
Yeah.
So no, it's not that we decide that okay, this will be our headline today. We react. We don't ever create situations where a headline is made. We just react to what is happening. So that particular day, I think Prime Minister was stressing on this word FDI, and he's giving his own interpretation of what FDI means. So I thought it's a newspaper responsibility. The Prime Minister can give an interpretation of the word or this particular abbreviation. Then it is a newspaper responsibility to respond that if you can do it, so can we. Or other people also can do it. So it is not that somebody can monopolize this words. So it is just, we thought that we must respond, and that is, and fortunately or unfortunately, that there were very dark historical parallels with the Nazi Germany. So that is how it had happened. So it is, again, I'm saying that it is not that we plan anything ahead. We were merely reacting to what happened that day. And say, let's assume that if on this particular headline there was not much discussion, but there are certain headlines where I'm not sure whether are we crossing the limits or is it insensitive to some particular group, or so then there are discussions happen and there are opinions. Our final decision is mine, but I go by what my team usually I go by what my team
this
say.
Particular headline was about that Andolan GV term.
Andolan GV and one is Andolan GV. There are two elements. One is Andolan GV, and the Prime Minister himself, if I can't remember, I think he himself was saying that FDI he was basically trying to tarnish the protesters, I think, by saying something about that is why that term we used.
I have the clip, right? If you just want to see, because every day he is giving such headlines we do remember them, but he forgets them.
No, something he had said. Actually, I remember that FD. Oh, he said it is foreign destructive ideology. Okay, he used that FDI, foreign destructive ideology. He said that. So if we can say that, then we thought we should also see there is another FDI can be said in another ways also. That is why.
There was one more, Aunty National. Mother India at your service and ready for the supreme sacrifice. Here comes Aunty National and Smriti Irani's big picture. Yeah. This particular headline, this front page snapshot was really viral and people were talking about it. Yeah. So when you decide headline, do you decide as if you want people to talk about it, or it just clicks to you and you just don't care whether people are talking about it or not?
See, to be honest, nowadays maybe we want people to talk because we now know that people, but this particular headline, at that time, not many people were aware of our headlines. What it was during the JNU, when the students were being beaten up and all that. So this minister made a speech in the parliament, and where so it is actually this headline was much misunderstood. Also, a lot of people forwarded, people said that it is insulting to the gender. It's a sexist angle to it. But when we gave it, that was not the idea. The idea was it was a very. I still consider it is a very political headline. There's nothing gender about it. In fact, even I will not. I think some website or newspaper they then said that if Telegraph wanted to pun, they could have punned with a lot of other things. Why get into this Aunty? They said Aunty something. They carried a 10 alternative headlines. So my point was that they're missing the point. It was not that we wanted to focus on a particular nature of Smriti Irani, or the point was what we're trying to say, that she was trying to appropriate that nationalism space, which was, even the BJP had not gone to that extent. In 2000, if you remember that around when it happened, I think 2015 or 15, no? Possibly 2015, I think, or 15 or 16. In 2014, when the BJP had come to power, there was this, there was a kind of a mirage around them, that it is a development agenda. So a lot of even people who actually wanted the country to progress, they were supporting BJP. So the JNU was one of the events where I would say the mask was completely, the BJP itself removed the mask. But even at that time, they hadn't gone to this extreme, the position that we find them today. So this was one of the this is one of the milestone moments, the Smriti Irani's speech. This was a speech where we are going to that extent, and then she was trying to occupy that space within the BJP. So it was not just that Smriti Irani was sending the message to, though the speech was addressed to, she kept constantly referring to the students and this Rohit as a children and all that thing. But the message was for the party. It said, if this is where the party is going, I want to be at the forefront of it. That was the message. And then that night itself, the Prime Minister tweeted about it, if I remember correct, that night, saying that everyone should watch this her speech, which was an open endorsement of that line. So it was a very political event that had happened, and the headline was also what we are trying. So because I could have said Aunty National or whatever, but what had happened is the word Aunty National was being used at the drop of the head. Even now it's being, that was also one of the first times it was being happening, and now it has continued like that. Anybody does anything that this government doesn't like, then they call them anti-national. So that was the idea behind it. So it was not that we were calling her auntie, or we were trying to belittle aunties or any other aunties. That was not the idea. The idea was this. And then we were trying to say that she is occupying that principal space within the party about. So which turned out to be right, because later when she launched the ministry, HRD ministry, people were saying that she has been demoted, but I never believed so. And in Amethi, it's proved right. She was being prepared for Amethi with such an image, and she delivered eventually. So it is all part of a plan. So anybody who says that it's a sexist headline, they just don't understand the politics. That's what I have to say.
So you still stand by your headline, right?
Of course, I don't consider it as something very. I don't want my journalism to be identified by that, but I definitely 100% I stand by it, and I will defend it anywhere, wherever I want. I've written a lot about it also, defending it, and I will continue to do so.
How the newspaper is able to carry such a line when the whole, the channel is carrying another line, the regional channels are carrying some different line, and then the newspaper goes with something else. Yeah. How is that possible?
You must be meaning about our the television channel. See, I've said several times. I handle only I work in a newspaper called Telegraph. I handle only that newspaper. I don't have so many power that I can influence another TV channel. Even there are other newspapers. Another a very big newspaper being published from this. I don't have any. It is not part of my brief. My brief is to stick with the Telegraph. So I do the job that I have been, and it is not that somebody has drawn a line to me and that you have to follow the line. I think any journalist or any observer who thinks that you need a line to do what we are doing, then they're not doing journalism. And if a television channel is not doing, then I'm not defending that. But what I'm trying to say that some journalist saying that I have been given a line, or I have not been given a line, that is what I am doing, then he should not be in journalism. He should be in some other profession then.
And I'm just liking the way you're talking so democratically, that is the basic, I think, ethos of Telegraph.
We should not expect a reporter to wait for a line for him to do a story, or then it's propaganda. It is not really. So that's what, when a lot of our admirers as well as people who hate us, they keep saying that it's a horrible paper. That is the common word they use is horrible, terrible, that kind of. So I keep, when they tell me in my face, I ask them, if you can point out something that we have done that is wrong, then I will correct and apologize. But as long as you don't do that, you just make this generalized statement saying it's horrible, terrible. I don't know what you're trying to say. I mean, you have to tell me that you see what you did this was wrong, or what you said was wrong. I'm not talking about facts. I'm also talking about when somebody is lynched. Where is a stand or line?
Exactly.
There is only one line to be taken.
Exactly.
So you can't say that Telegraph line is wrong or somebody else's line. That's again what I'm saying.
Exactly.
No? So there's no need for a line here.
I so agree with you when people say that, neutrality ka definition they've made, that if there is, some kind of riot happening, then you be neutral. So obviously you are actually, I think, supporting the rioters by being neutral.
Very true. Very true. And then when young people like the Omar Khalid, these people are put in jail, and the Bangalore girl who was arrested. So how can you support all this thing? Not only support it, it's as a journalist, I believe it's your job to actively oppose this. Even if you keep silent, you're being a party to it, which is what most mainstream newspapers try to do. They either ignore it or they handle this thing with so much of neutrality that it's what you said. It becomes, at the end of the day, it becomes condoning the effect.
And another headline, just, it's so much related to what you just said. Patriot that you had given.
Patriot. That is probably the first headline that caught the attention of because of JNU. This thing, like again saying, we used to do it earlier, and other papers also used to do it earlier. What happened was, why Patriot and other headlines started getting noticed, and most people stopped doing it. So it's like where I come from, Kerala. So we have a saying there that in a land where everybody is without a nose, a guy with a half nose will get noticed. So we are getting noticed not because of anything great we are doing, because others are not doing in a vacuum. Then at least even half measures will get noticed. I'm not saying that we are doing fully what we ought to do, because we have a problem in resources. We have a lot of, and it's a small newspaper based in one corner of the country. If we had more editions, then our reach would have been better, our influence would have been better, wider. So there are limitations, but within limitations, whatever we are possible, we are trying to do that.
Okay, how much have you heard this? You just mentioned that you are from Kerala, and somebody who's from Kerala, people try to say that you are a leftist, Vampanthi, tukde, Aunty National and all this stuff. How much have you heard that? And especially being the editor of Telegraph,
I've heard it several times. People call me communist, and if communists, I think communists will file a case against me if I say I'm a communist, because everybody knows where I come from. I worked only in capitalist organization. I started with Bernard Coleman. I work in an organization that believes in free market. I've never worked for any government organization. I've never worked for. So if I am a communist, then everybody should. Then Americans should be the most happy. If this is Indian communism, that if I represent communism. Then I think West communism has no hope now, and communism himself is the most angry about it, because there's nothing communist about me.
In this world of WhatsApp journalism and university, 140 characters on Twitter and Facebook post, do you being an editor of a newspaper that goes with things like some knowledge, some education, something has to be imparted to the readers, do you face some challenge that people are just not interested in reading? They are just more interested in what gets viral, or videos, or WhatsApp truth, and nobody is ready to just read what you're actually working for day and night?
Yeah, see, as a parent or somebody, I may be worried about that. But as a journalist, I'm not worried, because I continue to believe that your job is to write or broadcast or basically publish. Our job is to get published things. After that, it's up to the reader. And if they are not reading it, I would say that it's their problem. It's not my problem. I'm very arrogant about this thing, because earlier there used to be a phase in my life in Indian journalism also in the late 90s and early 2000s. It's saying that if somebody is not reading you, it is you have to make them read it. So even now I have no issues about saying that you have to do things so that people read you. But where I have a problem is when you take it to the next level, it becomes you have to give people what they want to read. See, there's a difference between you have to make people read and you have to give people what they want. Once you start give people what, then you end up with the kind of television channels we have, the newspapers we have, because it's a vicious circle. The channel will say, or the newspaper will say, I am doing what the people want, and people say, I am watching what the channel wants. So So this is a very dangerous, I would say it's a very dangerous marketing strategy.
Yeah. So you think that the condition of news channels, mainstream media, and especially the Hindi ones, It has deteriorated. Do you agree it has deteriorated? And if you agree, do you think that this is the main reason that they are trying to, just cater to the TRPs, to how people are watching us and how many people are watching us, how many advertisers we are getting, and the vicious cycle they're getting caught in?
Yeah, deteriorate, I will not make a value judgment. First of all, I don't think that they're doing journalism. I have what they're doing, they must be doing well, because I hear all of them make good money, much more money than we do. So they are doing something that's making money. So for them, it's a model that works. My problem is, see, the same happens with Bollywood also, but I have no problem at all. I respect Bollywood, because Bollywood say that it's fiction. Whereas here, they try to pass off fiction as fact. Then we have a problem. I don't know whether it need not be journalism. It can be, you can say they're preaching, it's an evangelism. You be like, you can call it something else, but so I cannot comment what they're doing right or wrong.
Is there any news channel that you ever watch?
I always watch Republic TV. Sorry, you can just switch on the television.
And I'll find Republic there.
Yeah, your only channel.
But why?
I don't know. Because there's no point sitting in echo chamber. No, that's people always accuse. People always accuse me of trying to being in echo chamber. It's not correct. I am not.
To get the other side of the extreme, right? No, you want to watch it.
Yeah, I want to, because I am always prepared, because if somebody comes and confronts what are you doing, then I must be able to answer them, and I need to, for that I need to know what they are saying. No, I always watch that. I engage with people in RSS, not leaders, grassroots, a few people. Then some of my very close friends are very right-wing, this thing. So I do engage with them. One of the main reasons is, see, I need to know. I need to be sure that what I'm doing is right, because if what they are saying is correct, then what I'm doing is wrong.
For how long can you watch Republic? Just tell me honestly.
It's always on here.
You can watch it with volume?
The thing is, no, without volume. And if something of interest comes up, which often happens only at 9 o'clock.
So what is that particular thing that you think that is...
okay. He doesn't know me, but I know him.
Is that the time when you put the volume on, when you see him jumping or shouting or just heckling somebody?
No, often what happens is, I think some of... because of social media, I am not on social media, but some of my colleagues are. They'll certainly say something, because now it's almost real time. Now, when it's happening, only people start tweeting, and then I put the volume on.
Hats off to you, because we just cannot tolerate that.
I know. A lot of people will be angry that I am taking it like some sport. No, I'm very serious about why. I told you the reason why I'm watching it. Because I need to know.
We get to learn from you. You're right.
I need to know, because there may be something that they're doing right, or if they certainly they give valid reason why CAA. So till now I haven't got a reason to justify this Citizenship Amendment Act. No, I haven't seen any valid reason from any side. But what if suddenly they come up with something that justifies it? I don't know. But this used to be like you ask any journalist who joined the profession before the 2000, you ask them what is the first thing they do. The first thing they do is that nobody reads their paper first. They read the main competitors' paper first. Then they read all the other newspapers. Even now, I know that this is the routine. Some 8, as a journalist, you are supposed to, if any person, you are supposed to do 5 to 6 newspapers a day. At least your city newspapers. The newspaper that you read first is always your competitors' newspaper. Why? So I am also doing the same thing. I don't consider Republic as common. They're way above us. What are doing? And there is a cliche saying, you keep your friends close, but enemies closer. So maybe that also is there.
That's very interesting. और आपका BP तो नहीं बढ़ जाता देख के?
No. I don't. Because again I am saying
You're very tolerant.
It is not that I am tolerant. It saddens me, because I do not blame the Republic or Arnab Goswami too much. I am saying, if they are finding some traction, that means some people are liking what they're doing. So I will blame. Again and again I blame the people. Just as I blame the people of India for 2014. We can say we made a mistake. Development, we got carried away by Narendra Modi's development narrative, that narrative, this narrative. But 2019, there's no excuse. Exactly. You wanted this government back, you voted for it. So I will not. I have nothing against Arnab Goswami or Republic. I have against the people of this country who voted for him. That is.
So that means that you must have seen that on regularly, the SSR case that he had.
No, that I haven't watched, but I.
अच्छा, तो आपकी हेडलाइन में मुझे उसका असर दिखता है. अभी आपने इसका जिक्र किया. लेट मी जस्ट कम अप विद वन हेडलाइन दैट आई हैड सेव्ड. 1 minute. Yes, this one. Show this slurp.
there's a Haina.
ये अगर अर्नब गोस्वामी का रिपब्लिक टीवी नहीं देखते तो ये इतनी बढ़िया हेडलाइन नहीं मिल पाती आपको. दिस इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दोस कैची एंड रियली सुपर एक्सक्लूसिव हेडलाइंस.
No, that's again I'm saying it was obviously the Arun Goswami and others were there, but often another thing we forget is. This is obviously because of television.
It says love. Riya's life torn apart. It's time to prey on others. मतलब रिया की जिंदगी तो अब बर्बाद कर ही दी. अब ये दूसरे लोगों की अब जिंदगी बर्बाद करने का समय है ना.
And they did that to Disha, no?
हाँ, exactly.
When it happened, say exactly same thing. It happened. They did that. That's.
मतलब कितना ये तो एकदम prophetic है.
No, but what I'm again
if this another thing I just I didn't read that. नीचे लिखा है, अभी दिखाना समृद्धि. नीचे लिखा है, if this picture reminds you of any TV anchor, it is not the Haina's fault. Was this you? I'm sure now. It's you now. No, who has written this? Because you are the one who's watching him so long.
That may be, but I did not mean him.
Okay. Let us keep guessing who he meant.
Yeah. You can do that. So again, I want to see. It may have been that the television channels were the last trigger. But if you remember, even newspapers at the time, it is not that they were very innocent, And many newspapers, what they do is, they may not be very aggressive, but they give this kind of stories enough coverage so that somebody who has, let's say, I see this thing on Republic TV at night. Maybe somewhere inside me there is 10% disgust, 10% voyeurism, 10%, 50% I like because somebody else, especially if it's a woman, India people like to drive them down and to belittle them. So all this, my baser instincts have been. My appetite has been satisfied, but then there may be a 10% doubt within me. Is it right what is happening? So I go to bed with that. Next day I get up morning, and some of the most respectable mainstream newspapers in India, they may not be screaming like that, but they also give legitimacy by giving all these planted stories by this Bihar. I think one police officer was planting story day and night about her. So when you there is one thing to see on screen and hear on screen, but another to read it in print. It suddenly gets a gravitas that was not there earlier. So it's our subconscious mind is what are the next day when you see it, you that 10% out of the 10% guilt, it will become the 8%. So this is how things get normalized in this country. So the media, I'm saying print media also a very responsible role to play, and I hold them also equally. If you notice, this kind of journalism, they may not scream, but if you open inside page, there will be one full page full of this only. In India, the good newspaper, they said everything is in the newspaper. No, that is not an idea of a good newspaper. A good newspaper should know what not to carry also. That's a big decision to take, which I'm very thankful to my colleagues. They very strongly feel about we should not. So it's not merely enough to criticize Arnab Goswami. A newspaper and a journalist should have also the courage not to carry certain news because it is wrong. Then why? But the habit in India is, even if it is no, we'll say we are unable to verify it, but we are still. Then why are you carrying it? We'll put a bracket. Telegraph is unable to verify this video. Then don't carry it. If it is of my daughter, will I carry unverified information?
Exactly. वो बोलते हैं कि हम लोग वायरल सच दिखा रहे हैं, कुछ दिखा रहे हैं, और फिर वीडियो को आप पूरा का पूरा रिपोर्ट देखते हैं for at least like 8 minutes, and after 8 minutes they will say, we cannot verify. So why the hell did you show it to me?
What you don't verify, you don't take it. You take your time. Take one more. Let the other show it. But that kind of courage. So for that kind of courage, you need moral integrity. You need financial stability. All those things are needed. That's where I said economic thing is very important. You need economic independence. Otherwise you won't be able to, because you should have the courage to say that let them say let them get the TRP for tonight. I have no problem, but I will not carry that kind of decision. I don't see it's happening.
Your headlines actually scream.
Not because again I'm saying.
So is that a reflection of Arnab Goswami or Republic TV that your headlines also scream?
No, but headline screen because we have the point size to do that because the font size we can increase because of computerization. Earlier we could not go above 60 or something. I think but now after computer that happened much before Arnab Goswami arrived on the scene.
ये तो मैंने इस तरह की हेडलाइन मैंने और कहीं नहीं देखी है with these faces.
Yeah, this
Just show this.
This is about
जिन्होंने नहीं देखा, this is the kind of very different kind of print journalism that's happening with Telegraph. That's the thing. I think that's like a clickbait. हम यूट्यूबर्स जो होते हैं हम लोगों को बोला जाता है clickbait.
Look at the date. This happened preceded at least social media as we know it now.
हाँ, I know. ये देखो ना, ये है सन. सुषमा स्वराज पहले दिख रही हैं, सन. देन राहुल गांधी का फेस. आस्क मामा. सोनिया गांधी का फेस. आस्क अबाउट डैडी. राजीव गांधी का फेस. बट डोंट आस्क बिग डैडी. हु इज बिग डैडी? वी ऑल नो. नरेंद्र मोदी इनका फेस है. So ये मतलब इस तरह से we have never seen in any of the newspapers, such kind of images, faces used among the headline text.
That's also because see again I'm saying it's all the evolution of journalism. When I started out visual journalism, not television journalism. In within the newspapers, how visual journalism was getting more prominent. Otherwise, till then, newspapers used to be very bland, and there'll be one headline and huge one story.
Exactly.
So all those things were changing. People started using logos, graphics. I was fortunate enough to. Then USA Today, the newspaper in America, they started their revolutionized the front page concept. So I also 1990. That was the time I also entered journalism. So I was fortunate enough to grow up with in the profession with a group that valued all these things. We are a very serious newspaper. Very very serious. I think sometimes it's very serious, too serious for my taste. It's a serious newspaper. So we do. If you notice in the last few weeks, we have not done any. We have more control because there's an election happening here. We have also a responsibility, and it is a very sensitive state with a huge mix of population. So any spark anywhere can create problems. So we also take this thing seriously. So
I saw that BJP manifesto headline.
So we try to. It is not that So again, I'm saying it's not that we decide a headline and do it. We never do that.
So it just dropped it.
No, it's that happens because anyway we should have we should maybe listen to others. So when suddenly people laugh at a joke, then I realize that it has touched them somewhere. So we try to work on that.
Okay, how much credit would you like to give to Arnab Goswami for the kind of headlines you are or the newspaper is giving to Telegraph?
No, nothing. Because I'm saying, telling it precedes Arnab Goswami by far, by decades. When it's nothing, even before Arnab Goswami worked in the play, he worked in our edit pages. Even at that time, the Telegraph was doing. So it's nothing to do with his. Only again, I will not give him any credit. But if at all I give credit, I will give credit to Narendra Modi because the way. Because he has given the opportunity for us to do this. Because I don't. So imagine if had it been Manmohan Singh, we will do the same thing.
You wouldn't have got content.
I wouldn't have got again. People just will not believe me. If I put something about or if I call Sonia Gandhi Aunty National, will anyone? There has to a good head. However screaming, however frivolous a headline always has to be backed by facts. Otherwise, it will fall flat. It has to have facts in it. That's what I'm saying. You can't suddenly decide. Some financial newspapers do this. Before the budget only, they will decide what the headline is. Even before the budget is presented. So you can look at the way the visuals are created, some train and all those things. The budget may have nothing to do with the train or some rocket or the current movie, whatever the hit movie, they will base everything on they'll keep because there's no time, they do it the day before. And budget may have nothing to do with it, but then if they put it there, it's there, But those things won't work. Even
in television channels, they tell everybody to just create those graphics, just keep them ready.
Newspapers also do that. So this is unless it is backed by facts, these things will not survive for long.
Okay, last question. I'm sure my viewers would be thinking of that question. So I have to ask that question from you. People think that if BJP is going to form its government in West Bengal, Telegraph would stop running. Is that true?
But I don't mean the left. See, even before Telegraph was launched, Bengal had a left government for 34 years. That government continued for 34. So Telegraph had the whole. We had opposed the left also equally strongly. We had opposed the Renewal government also very strongly at the time. So we will get to see it. And our mother newspaper, the Anandabasa Patrika, they have been hounded by the British also. So all these people have not been able to do. I don't know whether anybody can be stopped publishing. I don't know. I'm not bothered about what's going to. I'm rather bothered. If BJP comes to, but definitely I'm bothered. I'm bothered about what will happen to my children if they download something. They will be put in jail because of a toolkit or something. They will say, that I certainly am worried. About the newspaper, I'm not.
Thank you so much, sir. And I just, enjoyed everything that you said. Not only enjoyed, I got to learn a lot from you because, I did relate to so many things that you were saying, but I also got to know, and especially this bubble thing, that echo chamber. Yeah. I think I'll have to start watching Republic, even if it's like just for 2 minutes. I cannot tolerate more than that, so because my BP will just go up.
I may add up to their TRP. So Arnab can send me some flowers.
Thank you so much, and I would just like to speak to your colleagues also, if I can just go there. Thank you so much, Rajagopal ji. And okay, what's his name?
Devdeep Purohit.
Devdeep Purohit. Okay. Come. So you was coming. Come. आ जाइए ना देवदीप जी के पास. अच्छा, उन्हीं में. Okay.
यंग एकदम कब रिपोर्टर जब आता है, जब हम लोग चिल्लाते हैं उसके ऊपर, सो आई गो एंड टेल देम दैट डोंट कम बैक विद अ प्रेस रिलीज, ट्राई टू गेट अ स्टोरी विच हैज अ टेंजेंट. आई मीन एनी गवर्नमेंट, बी इट ममता और मोदी, दे वांट the newspapers to be an extension of the PIB or their Information and Cultural Affairs Department. So our job is not to be that, deny that role which is thrust upon us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to me, and I've just taken a lot of time of yours. आपकी स्टोरी पर थे. तो फाइनली मुझे लगता है मेरे साथ साथ आप लोगों को भी बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला होगा टेलीग्राफ के उस ऑफिस में. टेलीग्राफ के जब आप पेपर्स देखते हैं, आप लोगों के मन में जिस तरह के सवाल चलते हैं, सबसे ज़्यादा तो मुझे इस बात को लेकर हैरानी हुई दैट द टेलीग्राफ एडिटर, आई एम श्योर अर्नब गोस्वामी इज गोइंग टू बी ऑन क्लाउड 9 नाउ, कि टेलीग्राफ के एडिटर वॉचेस रिपब्लिक टीवी, और वो रिपब्लिक देखते हैं इसलिए उनके पास उसका एक काउंटर होता है. दिस इज़ देयर USP यू कैन से. कैमरा पर्सन समृद्धि साकुनिया के साथ साक्षी जोशी. बंगाल साक्षी है. देखते रहिए, सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा.